Hey everyone. Today, we're diving into a threat that feels like it's straight out of science fiction, but it's actually compromising our security right now. I'm talking about quantum computing. Based on some incredible insights from EY, we're going to explore how this massive leap in computing power could basically tear apart our digital privacy, and more importantly, what we can actually do about it.
So let's just start with a question that should probably keep anyone in charge of security up at night. What if everything, and I mean everything, we think is private and locked down today, could one day be read as easily as a book you left open on the table? We're talking emails, financial records, government secrets. This isn't some far-off what-if scenario. It's the high-stakes reality we need to get ready for starting now.
To really get why this is such a huge deal, we need to peek under the hood a little. So our first stop is the quantum revolution itself. We're going to see what makes this new type of computing so incredibly powerful and also so potentially dangerous. So, what's the secret sauce behind quantum computing? Well, it all boils down to something called a qubit. See, your phone or your laptop, they think in bits, which are just simple switches, right? They're either a 0 or a 1, on or off. But a quantum qubit plays by the weird rules of quantum mechanics. Think of it like this. If a normal computer had to open a lock, it would try every single key on a massive keychain, one by one. A quantum computer, because its qubits can be both 0 and 1 at the same time, can it can basically test all the keys at once. And that gives it a mind-boggling speed advantage for certain problems, like, you guessed it, breaking encryption. And that incredible power leads us straight to the core of the problem. All that speed isn't just going to be used for good. So let's get into our next section and see how this all connects. Our digital locks will break, and the very real threat this poses to encryption as we know it. Okay, this slide right here, this is the absolute heart of the matter. Most of the encryption that protects our entire digital world, we're talking to stuff that secures your bank account, your private messages, everything. It relies on one simple mathematical fact. It is ridiculously hard for normal computers to factor huge numbers. It would take them like billions of years. But for a quantum computer, that exact problem is a walk in the park. The very foundation that makes our digital lock strong today is precisely what a quantum computer is perfectly designed to shatter. So what does that mean in the real world? It means everything we currently protect is suddenly out in the open. We're talking about all your personal information, every financial record, a company's most valuable trade secrets, sensitive government intelligence, and yeah, literally every encrypted communication ever sent. The scale of this is just enormous. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. Okay, this sounds bad, but it's a problem for the future, right? For when these quantum computers are everywhere? Well, not exactly. And that brings us to a really scary concept that security experts are losing sleep over today. It's called the Harvest Now threat, and you can think of it as a ticking time bomb for our data. And hey, don't just take my word for it. This isn't just some fringe theory. As EY's analysis points out, major international security agencies are already sounding the alarm. The Dutch National Cybersecurity Centrum, for example, has put out official warnings about this. You know, when the people whose entire job is to protect national secrets start getting worried, we all need to pay attention. So how does this attack actually work? It's a frighteningly simple and patient three-step plan. Step 1, right now, today, criminals are stealing and collecting massive amounts of encrypted data. They're just hoarding it. Step 2, they don't even try to break it. They just store it away safely, waiting. And step 3, they wait for the day a powerful quantum computer becomes available. And when it does, they can unlock that entire treasure trove of old data all at once. And this is the part that really has to sink in. The danger isn't about some future data being compromised. It's about the data that is being stolen as we speak. Any sensitive information that needs to stay secret for a long time, think medical records, corporate R&D, intelligence files, it's already being harvested with the full intention of cracking it open later. Okay, that's the problem. It's big, it's serious. But here's the good news. It's not hopeless. We can actually prepare for this. So let's pivot from the threat to the solution. It's time to talk about becoming quantum safe and why you absolutely need to act now. The urgency here is very real. First off, quantum computers aren't just a theory anymore. They exist, and commercial uses are not that far away. But more importantly, overhauling an entire company's cryptographic systems is a massive, complicated job that can take years. If you act early, you can do it carefully and securely. If you wait, you're looking at a panicked, chaotic rush job that's bound to have holes. And there's actually a really interesting silver lining here, which the EY analysis points out. Getting ready for the quantum threat isn't just about playing defense. It can be a huge opportunity to finally get your overall cybersecurity fundamentals in order. It forces you to figure out what your most important data is and how it's protected, which is a giant win for security across the board.
So where does a company even start with something this huge? Well, thankfully, the experts at EY have laid out a really clear roadmap. So let's walk through their 3-step action plan, which is a super practical framework for building real quantum resilience.
The whole framework is broken down into 3 logical phases. First, you assess. That's all about discovery, figuring out where you stand right now and what your risks are. Next, you transform. This is the heavy lifting part, making a plan and actually moving your systems to new quantum-safe encryption. And finally, you comply. This isn't a one-and-done deal. It's about setting up new rules and policies to stay secure for the long haul. So let's break down each step. Step 1 is the readiness assessment. You can't plan a trip if you don't know where you're starting from, right? Same idea. This is about doing a deep dive into all your systems to map out exactly where your vulnerabilities are, what data is most at risk, and how long that data needs to stay secret. And the result of this isn't some vague 1,000-page report that no one reads. No, it's a tangible, risk-based readiness score. It breaks everything down into clear areas, as you can see here. This gives leaders a really clear, data-driven picture of where the biggest problems are and a solid, prioritized plan of action. Okay, step 2 is the transformation program. This is where the strategy turns into action, where the rubber meets the road. This means building a detailed, multi-year roadmap for all the upgrades. A huge piece of this is choosing the right post-quantum cryptographic, or PQC, solutions. These are the new algorithms built to resist quantum attacks. And, just as important, you have to train your people on how to use them. And finally, step 3, make sure all this hard work actually sticks. The quantum compliance model is about building new security policies from the ground up. You have to define how and when this new crypto is used, stay on top of new regulations, and set up continuous monitoring to make sure you stay secure. It's really about weaving quantum safety right into your organization's DNA. So, to bring this all home, the message is pretty clear. The quantum threat is absolutely real, and that harvest now, decrypt later strategy makes it a problem we have to deal with today. But, and this is the most important part, this is not an unbeatable problem. A clear strategic path to safety is right there for any organization willing to start the journey now. And that leaves us with one final, pretty important question to think about. The tech is coming, the threat is clear, and the plan to get safe exists. So the only real question left is this: is your organization prepared for a post-quantum world?